Alright, what's going on guys? My name's Chopper. Today I want to explain to you guys in as much detail as I possibly can the reason for the Nova 6 crawlers in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and even Black Ops 3 zombies. Now we don't see Nova 6 crawlers like how we typically do in BO3 zombies, kind of like how we do in Kindred Toten, but they still exist, and let me explain how. So a lot of people, when we first ran into the Nova 6 crawlers, a lot of people thought that they were like a race of their own, like they're some sort of alien that kind of just stumbled upon and mixed in with the zombies and still, is trying to attack the humans, but that is actually false. That is not the answer. The answer to that question goes much deeper than that. So you guys know in Kindred Toten, in the starting room, there is a message written on the wall that says, "Beware of the Six." Now this is actually very important. I didn't think it was that significant when I first saw it, and a lot of people didn't know what it meant, but it's all starting to come together now. Beware of the Six actually is referring to Nova 6, the Nova 6 gas from the Black Ops 1 campaign, that extremely dangerous gas that would just kill humans within seconds. And this extremely lethal substance was not only used to test humans, but keepers as well. So this is where the crazy part of the whole information comes in here. Now, a lot of people are all mixed up, but let me go ahead and set the record straight. The keepers were not tested on with 115. The keepers actually invented 115. The keepers own 115, if you will. Now, if you guys didn't know, the keepers are loosely based off the Vril Ya Race. I made multiple videos about them, but the keepers are actually the Vril Ya Race, and we have it they're actually called the Vril in Der Eisendrache. We see that on the book called The Mysteries of the Vril. So that is referring to the keepers, but they're just more commonly referred to as the keepers. So if I mention Vril, if I mention keepers, it's the same thing. Just kind of get that in your mind right now. So during some research on the Vril Ya race, you find out that the Vril Ya are descendants of an antediluvian civilization who live in networks of subterranean caverns linked by tunnels. And that makes perfect sense, as in Zetsubo no Shima, when you're going to get the skull, you find the keepers in a subterranean area, right? You're underground. And also in Shadows of Evil, you find that these keepers are also under the city. They're just underground as well. Now, to fully understand a keeper, we have to fully understand where it gets its power from. So when you do a little bit more research on the Vril, you find out that the Vril get their chief source, or their chief tool is called the Vril. It's a liquid. It's an all-permeated liquid called the Vril. Now, this is also referred to as 115 in the zombie storyline. That would make complete sense, as the keepers are the owners of 115, right? This gives them their power, and the Vril rod is also, kind of controlling. It's kind of like the brain of the 115. That makes sense. You remember the Vril rod, or some people call it the Maxis rod. It's the Goldenrod they use in Moon and also Der Eisendrache. That is the Vril rod. That's kind of like the brain of I guess, the 115 power. So really what I'm trying to get at here is that the keepers, when they have Vril energy, or 115 energy as it's also commonly called, in their power, then they're pretty much all powerful beings. They're pretty much unstoppable creatures. They're much more powerful than humans, but if you take that power away from them, then they become weak. And when you use Nova 6 on them, that is what happened. Basically what I'm trying to get at here is that you guys know that in Der Eisendrache there was a certain screenshot on the projection which shows some keepers getting captured. So basically what happened is that some keepers got captured and they were tested on with Nova 6. Now, you guys know in the Black Ops 1 campaign, when humans were tested on with the Nova 6, they died within seconds. Maybe they lasted about a minute or so. No longer than a minute. But the Vril, or the keepers, are a little bit stronger than humans, right? They're a little bit more, I guess, hardy than humans. So they did not die from it, but they only became really degraded, and they just look really sickly. If you look at like a Nova 6 crawler, or one of these Vril crawlers, they don't look like an actual species. That doesn't look like they look healthy or what they should look like. They just look sickly. Am I right? I mean, you can see their ribs, and they just look very gross. So when a keeper is fully healthy and it has this Vril or 115 power with them, what does that allow them to do? What does this actually do for them? Not only does it let them levitate, that is the reason why when you're running rituals, if you just see keepers flying around, it lets them levitate. That is the power, in effect. That's the power in action with them. Not only does it do that, but it also lets them heal, destroy, and change any being or things. They literally have control over basically anything that you can think of when they have their full power, that is. But if they don't, then of course they become weak, kind of like when we see the Nova 6 crawlers, all degraded and just disgusting looking. So that is why the Goldenrod is such an important factor, such an important artifact in the zombie storyline. You guys remember in Call of the Dead that Richtofen was so uptight about getting that rod back. He was literally just so in shambles that he didn't have it. And I didn't understand why in Call of the Dead why he wanted it so bad. I didn't understand that it literally had that much power or carried that much weight. So that all makes sense now about how powerful that thing is. So one more interesting detail I found about the Vril race is that it's suggested, or it's kind of thought, that they're telepathic and they're also able to teleport. That could explain exactly why in Moon that the Nova 6 crawlers kind of teleport and jump up to you. Guys remember that if you play Moon, that the Nova 6 crawlers are actually very fast because they can teleport to you. They can kind of skip and hop and jump around the map and up to you. They become very fast, and they become a lot more dangerous than in other zombies maps. And that would make complete sense, as the Vril would be a telepathic or teleporting, I guess, kind of race. but you're thinking, you know, if they had Nova 6 tested on them, then wouldn't that take their power away? Well, maybe they have like maybe a sliver of power left in them, and that just allows them to teleport. Maybe that's ingrained into their genetics. Who knows? That's not really clear. It's not really confirmed if they are like teleporting beings or telepathic, but it's just kind of suggested. It's just kind of thought. So anyway, that's what I want to explain to you guys, that the basically what I want you to take away from this is that the Nova 6 crawlers are keepers just tested on with Nova 6 with their power stripped away, and they're just very, very degraded and not as powerful as they should otherwise be in the form of a keeper. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I did a lot of research, so I hope you guys did enjoy this, and if you did, make sure you guys do leave a like. We're going to aim for 30 likes on this video. That'd be absolutely amazing. And if you're new, make sure you do subscribe, and I really appreciate that very, very much. We're getting close to 4,000 subscribers, so that'd be insane. Thank you all for watching again, and I will catch you guys on the next video.